I have Asperger's, which is a form of autism. Autism spectrum disorder, or ASD, is characterized as a brain development disorder. When I was diagnosed in 2001, the number of diagnosed cases was 1 in 150. Statistics now show that ASD currently affects 1 in 45 children. It is more common in boys than girls. And although the severity is quite different in every individual,
one fact is consistent. The numbers are growing, and it is believed to be an epidemic, and nobody knows why. 你好，我叫 Will. 今天我非常高兴跟大家分享. In Chinese, that means hello, my name is Will, and I'm honored to be speaking to you all today. Now, if you all don't mind, I'll be giving my entire speech in Chinese.
When Will was about 3 years old, there was some very obvious changes in him. My degree was early childhood education, so I noticed things that weren't quite right and things that were a little unusual, not typical, especially not of Will, because Will was a very calm, quiet child. He was very friendly.
There's one day at the playground, like my sister said, like there's something just not going right with Will today. Like he didn't want to hang out with us or anything. And we kind of got like, all right, we found the sense that there's something definitely happened. Once we kind of figured it out, we kind of just blocked it out and said we're still going to treat him as if before he had this condition.
I didn't necessarily notice that I had autism until I was in probably middle school, because at that point I started to differentiate myself among all the other students, all my other classmates.
When he was 3 years old and he was leaving preschool, one of his teachers who knew somehow, she just knew, this is when we were finding out that there was something a little different. She came up and grabbed my arm right before I left school and she said, "Don't you ever let anybody tell you there's something he can't do." And I thought, well, why would she say that to me? But there's a reason why she said that to me, and I think it holds true with everybody. I think that he wants to be a speaker. He wants to not just go around the United States. He wants to travel the world, and he wants to talk to people about autism. And he wants to say, you know, your autistic kid may not be able to tell you exactly what he or she thinks, but there is a lot hidden in there. There are a lot of gifts hidden within that child. And I think that him being able to speak up and advocate for those who can't speak up for themselves is very important.
Will seems to have like this maturity about him that I really think just makes him stand apart, and it's that willingness to do something about autism awareness.
Social cues that most people learn from observing others or simply know instinctually had to and still have to be explained to me. Maturity, I'm sure, influenced much of my behavior modification, but I'm also very lucky to have friends that are willing to guide and help me through everyday life.
I started to come up with different tactics on how to zone the crowd out. Most people tell me that to picture them naked. And I tried that once and it didn't really work out because I think, what am I doing here? Why am I giving this speech? So I found a new tactic. It doesn't matter if I do bad or poor, because there's a good chance that I'm possibly never going to see these people again for the rest of my life.
You know, I'm his mom. I see him every day and I know what he's capable of and what he's not capable of. He really kind of turns into a different person when he's on stage. He has decided that this is something that he really needs to do because I think there's a real necessity there.
If there's anything I could say to all autistics out in the world, it'd be that, I know you hear this a lot, but life is always going to get better. Life is always gonna pull you back like an arrow in a bow, but the only reason why people pull an arrow back on a bow is to shoot it forward. Whatever hardships you're going through, they're all going to pass. Those bad times haven't come to stay, they've come to pass.
Through Ausometistic, we hope to educate and help guide people through their journeys. We want to provide optimism and inspire confidence where potential may not be fully recognized. Support for those of us with ASD and our caregivers is essential and can empower us to be successful regardless of the difficulties we may face. I am learning to sign. I'm not deaf and I can hear, but because communication is important, I want to know more languages. Plus, I think it's cool. And please don't pay any attention to that sign. My mom just thinks she's funny. I want to be a national, maybe international, inspirational speaker to help bring better understanding to ASD. I want to share what I've learned, which is making excuses is worse than having a disability. I really enjoy writing, and hopefully with the completion of Ausometistic, we can reach even more people by translating it into as many languages as possible. I want to personally thank each and every one of you here today. I believe I am reaching more people with every speech, and each one is a milestone for me. Thank you all so much for your interest and for allowing me to share my story with you. It has truly been an honor.